I mentioned this movie briefly during my last video, but I had no idea how bad it actually was until I watched it. This movie was made to try and capitalize on the popularity of Batman, and not only did it fail to find success anywhere close to that, but it resulted in a lawsuit, and it's also considered by some to be one of the worst movies ever made. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the program. And on this episode, I'm going to be talking about a movie written, directed, and produced by Jerry Warren that was eventually re-released with a different title. The beginning of 1966 saw the release of the Batman TV show, which became pretty popular. So filmmaker Jerry Warren decided to make his own Bat superhero movie, The Wild World of Batwoman. Not to be confused with 1968's The Batwoman. DC Comics sued his production company for copyright infringement, but believe it or not, he actually won the lawsuit. And by that time, ratings were dropping for the Batman TV series, so he re-released the movie under the title She Was a Hippie Vampire. The movie starts with this girl getting a wrist radio and being told she has to swear her allegiance to Batwoman by drinking this glass of fake blood, which is made from strawberry yogurt. And this is why I've never wanted to join a cult. They always want you to drink something awful. You know, blood, poison Kool-Aid, strawberry yogurt. I know some of you are probably thinking, hey, strawberry yogurt, that's not so bad. Well, maybe for you. But some people are lactose intolerant. So, what are they supposed to do? Live a life without participating in satanic rituals and human sacrifices? You call that living? Late at night, a man going for a walk gets stuck up by these two guys who want his wallet. And he's like, all right, if you want it, come and get it. But that would be extra effort, so they shoot him because, again, they don't want to work for money. That's why they're robbing him in the first place. Good thing these two girls are hiding in the trash for some reason and happen to witness the whole thing. But these aren't ordinary girls, these are Bat girls, with a direct line to Batwoman. And you may be wondering what they're doing in the trash in the first place. Well, aren't we nosy today? People throw valuable items in the garbage all the time. They just throw them away. So maybe these girls are just trying to be thrifty. And plus, it's a good thing that those Bat girls were there so that they could witness the murder and then tell Batwoman so that she could then call the police. Which isn't really that exciting, I know. Meanwhile, inside of this bar, people are having a wild time, and this guy wants to buy this girl a drink, so she agrees. But if someone in a bar brings you a drink and then stares at you like this while you drink it, probably a good indication that they're not exactly trustworthy. So they take her into a car because they know she's a Batgirl. But it's okay because she activated her trusty wrist radio. I guess it's a good thing that the other Batgirls are just sitting around the radio listening in case one of the other Batgirls calls in. So now it's time to call none other than Batwoman. And I have to say, this is impressive. Most superhero crime fighters have a secret identity and a costume that they change into whenever duty calls, but this just seems to be what she wears on a regular, everyday basis. This is like her default outfit. She probably wants to show it off as much as possible, and you know what? I don't blame her, because this is an outfit that just doesn't quit. So they take her to a lab and start introducing themselves, as is customary for villains to do. You've got Bruno, Tiger, Heathcliff, Professor Neon, and the biggest villain of them all, Rat Fink, who looks like, well, it's as if they had 5 minutes to come up with a costume for a villain, so they raided an old trunk in an attic somewhere. Back at Batwoman headquarters, the Batgirls are training, which consists of swimming, skipping rope, and pushing. And now it's time for the meeting, but not before the pledge.
We, the girls who are dedicated to Batwoman, take our oath with all sincerity. We, the girls who are dedicated to Batwoman, take our pride with all sincerity. We, the girls who are dedicated to Batwoman, fight against evil with all sincerity.
Okay, so this really is a full-on cult. But at least it's a good cult. It's a crime-fighting cult. And by the looks of it, a fun cult. And see, that's just it. I've never been part of a cult before because none of them have presented anything of interest to me. But if you got a pool I'll hear you out. So Ratfink calls Batwoman on the wrist radio, and he's like, I've got your Batgirl, Batwoman, but I'll only give her back if you get something for me. And Batwoman is like, only if I can see my Batgirl first. And he's like, okay, yeah, just come over. Now, some people might think it's a bad idea for the kidnapper to invite the hero to the location where they are keeping the person that they kidnapped. Well, have you ever heard of a little thing called reverse psychology? It works like this. You tell her the location, and then she just shows up right away. Okay, actually, that wasn't really a good idea. The Batgirl is crying uncontrollably, so they give her another happy pill, and she starts dancing.
I got some chocolate milk in the refrigerator and some macaroons.
Okay, so this is going a lot different than I expected, and I don't really know what to think. I mean, if the bad guys invite you over and then offer you chocolate milk, macaroons, and ecstasy, are they really bad guys? I mean, I'm not into the drugs personally, but I still appreciate the offer. They may be bad guys, but they're definitely good hosts. Ratfink appears on a screen and he's like, I need you to go to Ajax Corp and steal the atomic hearing aid. There's only one of them in the whole world, and I want it. That way I can listen to any telephone conversation I want. And the idea of that really gets me going. Eavesdropping is a huge turn on for me. So Batwoman just says, screw this, beats everyone up, and before she leaves, throws a smoke bomb, which really doesn't do anything. I mean, they can still see you escape. The smoke really isn't covering much area, and it's not really that much of a distraction. And there's only one door, so there's really no mystery as to how you left. So over at Ajax Corp, JB tells Flanagan that they're in trouble. Batwoman called and said someone's planning to steal the hearing aid. We need Batwoman's help. But how do you contact Batwoman? See, with Batman, you have to turn on the bat signal and hope that he sees it. It's kind of ridiculous. Batwoman has a much more effective method. You just drive over to her house. So Flanagan goes over and walks right in. Finally, one of the Batgirls motions for him to take a seat, but she doesn't say anything. And of course she doesn't say anything. Batwoman is playing the organ. What else would she be doing on a weekday afternoon? What, fighting crime? Hello? Everybody knows that crime only happens at night. I'm the neighbor! Yeah, I've been here for 45 minutes now. She just keeps playing the same song over and over. She borrowed my pool skimmer like a month ago. I'm just trying to get it back. And look, this is just part of the deal. If you want to be one of the Batgirls, you gotta hang out and listen to Batwoman's shitty music. It's kind of like when you go over to a friend's birthday party and they bring out their guitar and it's like, oh, okay, I guess I gotta stay for a bit of this. Or it's like that thing where whenever you go buy weed from your dealer, you know, you gotta kind of hang out for a bit, which I find funny because that's actually happened to me. So Batwoman agrees to help protect the hearing aid. And what's her big plan for that? Bring the Batgirls over and give them all guns. And I have to say, I thought Batwoman was gonna come up with something a little bit more clever than this. I thought it was gonna be like a trap. You know, you lure them in and then surprise them and catch them in the act. But at this point, Batwoman seems like less of a crime fighter and more of a gang leader for hire. You know, Batman didn't need a whole crew. He just needed $1 billion and one very scantily clad but devoted sidekick.
Out of my way, I said. I've got to go after Robin!
The bad guys just walk into the building, and these disguises will make it impossible to determine if these people were authorized to be here or not. So Flanagan invites Batwoman to go have some lunch, because that seems like the appropriate thing to do right now. But this is where the bad guys put their diabolical plan to work.
Soup? Hot soup, girls. Here it is. Soup. Get your soup, girls.
So the plan was to sneak into the building with fake beards, mustaches, and soup, and then put happy pills in the soup, which just seems like a nightmare logistically. I mean, how do you ensure that the soup stays hot the whole time? And what if some of them don't want soup? What if they don't like soup? I'm telling you right now, I am not accepting strange soup from a strange man. I learned my lesson the first time. So the bad guys are able to steal the hearing aid and kidnap the same Batgirl that they did the last time. So what's Batwoman gonna do now? I mean, Batman was the world's greatest detective, but Batwoman doesn't have time to be searching around for clues and putting all the pieces together. Once again, she has a much more effective method. She's gonna go home, light some candles, have a seance, and connect to the spirit realm where the spirits will tell her where to go. You might be thinking, why doesn't she just go right back to the hideout? Wouldn't that be the most likely place where the bad guys went? Doesn't that make sense? And I mean, who the hell do you think you are? Look, the last time she was there, it was the middle of the night. It was dark, and she didn't pay attention to the exact location of where the hideout was. And yes, you'd think that since she did escape and found her way back home, that she would have taken note of where the evil villain's hideout was precisely located. But we can't get caught up in shoulda, woulda, couldas here. So Batwoman sends the Batgirls out to the beaches to search for the hideout, because why would Batwoman, the person who's actually been to the hideout, go out and look for herself? Of course, the girls get distracted with dancing and kissing and come on, girls, this isn't what Batwoman is not paying you to do.
I don't want another pill. I'm tired of being happy.
Man, whenever I review these old movies, the 60s always seems like it's from a different dimension of reality. The way the world is now, it's just like, I'm tired of being tired. Does anybody else feel like that? One by one, Rat Fink manages to capture the Batgirls, and this is when things get really weird when Tiger takes the kidnapped Batgirl. By the way, I'm calling her that because that's the only name the character has. All of the Batgirls are like that. Look, kidnapped Batgirl, 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 and Batgirl 14. At least that one got a number. Anyways, Tiger is taking kidnapped Batgirl through these caves to Rat Fink's lab. And just outside the lab is the cavern, which is filled with Rat Fink's monsters. Now at this point you might be thinking, hey, this looks like it's starting to get interesting. Let me just stop you right there. You never see these things again, okay? So just forget about it. The dream of this finally getting exciting dies here. So Rat Fink is some kind of a mad scientist and kind of a phony as well. I mean, look at this machinery behind the girls. This is nothing. This isn't an actual gauge. This is just a drawing. This looks like something from a school project. It's literally just painted on. It doesn't even look close to being real. So apparently he captured the girls so that they can breed with the monsters. What's the point of that? I have no idea, and it never comes up again. Then Batwoman shows up, and here comes a bunch of stupid crap when she somehow frees them with this ray gun, and then Rat Fink starts multiplying himself, and then Batwoman tells the girls to capture him, but nothing really happens here. It's not like there's any fighting or anything. Everybody is just running around in circles. It makes no sense. Just look at this. They're just running around the table over and over again. Whatever. Batwoman turns some dial or something which gets rid of the body doubles, and then they reveal Rat Fink's true identity, which is JB, the guy from Ajax, and he wanted to steal the hearing aid because the patent office ordered that it be destroyed, and he couldn't destroy it because
I like to listen in on telephone conversations.
Well, there you have it, folks. By day, this guy runs a successful technology company, and by night, he spends his time creating drugs, monsters, and listening in on people's telephone conversations. Don't judge, all right? They might not be your kind of hobbies, but at least he's got hobbies. Anyways, Heathcliff spilt some cobalt on the hearing aid, which basically turns it into a bomb. So they all run out of there, and there's a big explosion, and somehow everybody is okay, except Rat Fink. He just disappears. They don't even mention him ever again at any point during the rest of this movie. He's just gone. So I can only imagine he died. Otherwise, he'd be facing a slew of charges. You would think, but I guess it depends on how rich he was. But that's okay, because everybody pledges their allegiance to Batwoman, and then they all start dancing, because, you know, it's the 60s. And that's really the end of the movie. They just dance for a while, and it's over. Jerry Warren liked to work with a lot of the same actors. There's some actors here that were also in the movie he made after this, Frankenstein Island, which was the subject of my last video. Catherine Victor, who played Batwoman, also played Sheila Frankenstein, and Steve Brody, who played Flanagan, also played Jocko in that movie. Jerry Warren refused to hire a costume designer, so the Batwoman costume that you see in the movie was actually made by Catherine Victor herself. And if any of you are wondering where the Batgirls came from, well, apparently the casting director went to a strip club that was being shut down and offered all the girls there parts in the movie. I think it's pretty obvious that the movie was trying to be kind of goofy and campy like the Batman TV series, but it doesn't really work here. The story is really stupid, and there's a lot of things that just go nowhere, like the whole storyline with the monsters. I guess Batwoman is supposed to be a crime fighter like Batman, but we don't get to see a lot of her solving crimes or stopping crimes. So in the end, the Wild World of Batwoman wasn't really that wild, unfortunately. I want to thank all of my supporters on Buy Me a Coffee, Patreon, and my YouTube channel members. I want to thank all of you for tuning in, but that's pretty much it for this one, and I'll see you all next time. And now they're all dancing to no music, which is incredibly dangerous. You could have hot soup and bullets flying around in no time. I actually think it would be better having nothing on there than this drawing of some kind of a gauge, meter, whatever. I guess I shouldn't be surprised. This guy couldn't hire a costume designer. He definitely couldn't afford actual props.